Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bushcraft and Camping Adventures. I am absolutely soaked through the bone and I didn't go for a swim. I've just done the most challenging walk I've ever done. And truth be told, this campsite is absolutely horrible. I've got some stories to tell you about the last 2 hours of my life. From what I believe was an encounter with, probably just a serial killer, seriously, to being about a hair's breadth from dislocating my knee, to getting lost, and then to completing an absolutely unexpectedly horrendous walk. But I'm here. I couldn't film anything because I was that knackered. The terrain was that difficult and my camera was buried that deep in my backpack that I just couldn't stop to pull everything out. I had to take everything out to get to it. Everything had to come out. All my stuff from the front had to go. Man. Whew. I feel like I've needed to do this for the last 2 hours, but hold on tight. Here we go. Why is he walking again? You might say. Why is his backpack on again? Well, I went for a walk up here just to make sure I wasn't 5 minutes away from something outstanding. And to be honest, it's not as pretty, but I'm a few minutes away from flat ground. It opens up a bit, and there's another track which I'm gonna see if I can take to go home. So if I can avoid that track again, boy will I. Whew. It's a tough slog today. There's a lot of work that needs to be done here before I can set up tents, set up house, and get comfortable. I've been trying to use Google Maps to find myself a nice location. As luck would have it, this was pretty much exactly where I intended to be. But I was going to get there a completely different way. So I parked my car. So I parked my car, right? I parked my car. And I started walking to the original way I was going to go, walking along the side of the road. And out of the blue, this car pulls up next to me. And there's this bloke just staring daggers through me, like absolutely staring daggers through me. And I looked at him like, "What's up, man? Do you need a hand or something?" And he just kept staring daggers through me. And I'll remove the colourful language, but he said to me, "Did I something stutter? Something. Did I stutter?" I'm like, "What?" I was completely confused. I'm like, "Sorry, mate, I'm not sure what you're saying." His look I'll be very honest, it shook me up. To say that I looked into the eyes of what can only be described as the A1 typical look of an aggressive murderer serial killer. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. His car, this grey station wagon, even looked like a murderer or a serial killer's car. And I almost can't tell you the conversation we had, because every word he said had, you know, language that YouTube won't like me repeating. But I think I missed the first thing he said, because the first thing I heard from him was, did I stutter? And I assume he told me to get lost or to get back to my car or get out of here or something like that. He called me a Rambo something, swear word. Yeah, you bloody Rambo. And he threatened to get out of the car and throttle me. You know what? I'm realizing the adrenaline pumped so much I can barely remember what he said to me. I know he said he would throttle me. I know he called me a Rambo, swear word. I know he said, did I something stutter something, all swear words. And I don't know, man, it shook me up, eh? It legit shook me up. I pretty much, as soon as he drove off real slow, and I was half expecting him to chuck a U-bolt to turn around and come back at me, like legitimately. So as soon as he got over the crest of the hill, I turned around, I legged it back to the car. Absolutely legged it. Because you know when you just get that feeling? Like, I felt like I was looking at Ivan Milat in his heyday. Like, he had a beanie on and he just looked angry. And just, he looked like he could snap if I just said the wrong word in the wrong way. I was super nice, super kickback, super non-threatening, and he ended up moving on. But suffice to say, I did not pick that camping spot to camp in. And I even saw a couple of runners later on, and I gave them a heads up. I asked them if they'd been harassed by anyone, and they said no. And I gave them a heads up because, I mean, seriously. I know the story hasn't really come across well, but just picture this. You're walking on your own down a dirt road, and a car pulls up, a guy stares daggers through you. He looks like an absolute psycho. He threatens you, he swears at you, he looks completely unhinged. I don't know if he was off his head, I don't know if he was drunk, I don't know if he was actually psychotic, I don't know what it was. And here I was, I don't even have my knife on me today. I've lost my knife, again. And suffice to say, it was one of the freakiest encounters with a human being I've ever had. Talk about being completely intimidated, and I'm not a guy that gets intimidated easily. I can hold my own, you know. I'm not too afraid. But when people don't seem balanced, and when people clearly want to start trouble, wow, did it freak me. I had to pull over at a lookout and basically chill out for about 20 minutes. My hands were shaking. It was just it took time for it to hit me, and then like all this adrenaline rushed through my system, and yeah, wow. Like, the story hasn't captured the moment at all well. But put it this way, I'm glad to be here. I've made sure I'm out of sight. I've made sure no one can find me. And I was not going to stay at that original campsite. I mean, it's technically not far from here, but the way I've gotten into where I am now is completely different. To find me now, he's going to have to go trekking through severe tracks and bushland, which I'll get to in a minute, or a little bit later. Suffice to say, I've had a hell of a morning. It's about 12:30 right now. Good thing I left early today. And by the time this is cleared and flattened out a little bit, and by the time my tent's up and my seat's out, I am going to have earned that rest. And I really look forward to starting that fire and feeling a little bit more zen, a bit more connected to nature and a bit more disconnected from that absolute nut job guy. If I'd never been out here before, I would never come back. That's how intense it was. Man, oh man, like, you gotta believe me, 10 out of 10 intimidating, intense moment. Jesus Christ. What is going on today? Man, I almost knocked myself out. I saw stars for a second there. Oh yeah, that's gonna swell. Oh yeah, that's gonna swell. Should I just pack up and go home at this rate? I mean, I haven't even told you the other stories. Wow. What a day. You know, it's funny because I was bloody well saying to myself at home, you know, I go a bit too soft sometimes on my trips, and it would be nice to kind of be able to really earn that rest at, you know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Bloody hell am I earning it today? I have no idea if that, I have no idea. Look, am I red? I don't have a mirror, I can't tell you. Coming close. Whacked me right here. Like you didn't get my eyes. See, there's always an upside to every story. Alright, I'm just going to clean up, and if this video never makes the air, it's because I just somehow killed myself. Alright, it's time to set up our tent. Something I'm quite relieved to do. It's going to bring some semblance of normality to this trip. It's a very small space here, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. But every tent starts by rolling it out, right? So let's do that. I'm going to build it here, and then I'll move it once it's all erected. Ooh. Tip, if your tent's wet, don't forget to dry it out. I forgot to dry it out. I think given the day I've had, there's going to be a lot of relaxing tonight. A lot of not doing much and just earning the break. As I said, I haven't even told you about the adventure I got myself into getting here. Madmen and serial killers aside, there's a whole other chapter to this trip that I'm holding on to. Alright, ideally I want to spin this around. Alright, that's not the best fit. I'm a little bit overlapping, but bit of a tip when putting these tents up, look for the orange tabs on the inside. Find the tabs first, because you know where they go. Okay, these flowers here, super spiky. I don't want anything to do with them. So what I've got to do is I've got to get them away from the tent because I don't want them digging into the tent and putting holes in the tent. Yep, so best thing to do with that, I don't want to pull them out of the ground because, you know, you don't want to disturb nature all that much. I really should have my gloves on for this. And just weigh them down like that. Here's the first. Fruit salad. Pineapple and strawberry, best combo, man. Hey, you know what? I'm going to do something I haven't done for ages. I'm going to give a shout out to another channel. This one came as a surprise because it's actually a viewer, a subscriber to my channel. And it's weird, I love his videos. And he's at the entry level. Like he's only done, I think, 3 camping videos. He's been around for a few years, but he's been doing DIY stuff. Now he's doing camping, and I don't know, man. Something about him, I really enjoy it. Alex does DIY. Go and check him out and tell him you've come from me. Anyway, I don't usually eat fruit. Not because I don't like it. It's too much sugar. But given what I've been through today, and given that I prepared it, I think I can make an exception. So, save some for later. I did one of the stupidest things I've ever done in my life the other day, and it cost me $500. We know that me and the missus, about a year ago, got a Mitsubishi Pajero GLX Sport, if you didn't understand that. Great car, highly recommend it, good for the family, good for the off-road, all around top car. We've taken care of it, put the best petrol in, you know, everything that we need to do, we're doing. The other night the missus needed to go for a drive after the kids were put down, and she needed to get petrol, and I'm like, no, I'll go get petrol, it's all good, let me get it. She's like, you don't have to. I'm like, no, it's cool, I want to help. So I jump in the car, drive around the corner to the servo, and I start filling up. About $16 into the fill up, I noticed that the petrol was being charged at 161 cents per litre, which is quite expensive in Australia. I just stopped for a second and I went, diesel, 161? That doesn't make any sense. Diesel's, you know, normally 110, 120 cents a litre. What the hell? And then I stopped and I looked at the actual pump, and I was putting unleaded petrol in my diesel tank. It was one of the stupidest moments, and just, it was like shock horror. It's like, holy crap, what have I done? Now it wasn't $16, so I was at 16 litre mark. So I have a 60 litre tank, and I put 16 litres of unleaded petrol in a diesel tank of 60 litres. I call my father-in-law, he calls a couple of mechanic mates, I call my brother-in-law, he calls a couple of mechanic mates, I call a few people. And most people are saying, look man, just fill it up with unleaded and drive it. It's not going to be fun. The car's not going to like it. You might need to replace your fuel filter. But it should be okay. And everyone's going, should, probably, might be, should be. And I wasn't comfortable with it. So I ended up calling the fuel recovery service. Cost me $500 for a guy to come out, drain all the fuel, clean the injectors, clean the filter, put half a tank of actual diesel in, and send me on my way. What started as a 5-minute favour for the missus turned into a $500 piece of dumbassery, the likes of which I don't think I've ever done before. So we had to take it out of our holiday fund. And look, to be honest, the holiday fund doesn't get touched. It's just money I just chuck in there every week, so it doesn't even feel like it cost me $500, but it cost me $500. So, you know, what dumbass crap have you done? That's going to be at the top of my list for quite a while. I've got some corkers in my life, but that was just so stupid. So stupid. So anyway, I'm going to sit here for a while. This is the kickback portion. I'm going to have more of a feed, have something a bit more substantial than fruit. I'm going to listen to a podcast. I am just going to honestly relax for a while. I've earned this relax. Tell you what, today be a good day for a hammock. I would knock out in a hammock in a heartbeat today. I really would. But oh well, at least I'm here. The drama's behind me. And I hope that's not famous last words. Mosquitoes around today. Do they not know the season? It's winter. Go home, mosquitoes, you're drunk.